All right. So the first thing we have to do to get this started, we did not do this the other day when you guys created this. We need to create, or we need to change your file name for this. What I'm going to have to end up doing is I'm going to have to, I can't grade these things by screenshots very easily. There's going to be too much stuff in them. So I'm going to try to have you guys share your files with me. However, if I have you share a directory with me, if I have 88 people's directories named Actobotics, that's going to be a little bit hard to tell whose is whose if I have 88 files named Actobotics or 88 folders named Actobotics. So instead of that, what I want you to do is go to your little waffle, find your folder that you created that's called Actobotics. So find your folder called Actobotics. I think I put mine in CAD 1 and 2. Yes, I do. Or yes, I did. I want you to rename yours. You notice here I renamed mine. I renamed mine 8th Darren Worcester. I want you to rename your file or your folder that's called Actobotics. Rename that folder second and then your first and last name. Second, your first and last name. If you don't know how to rename it, right click on it there and you can click on rename. Okay, so from there, go ahead and open up that folder. And you should see your whole list of parts here. The first part we're going to put in is going to be a channel. So we're going to scroll down there to the channels, open up channels. Then in the channels, we're going to scroll down and find the 9 channel. That's a 9-inch long channel. Find your 9 channel, drag and drop it into place. Oh, wait. Oh, I almost forgot. Hey, this reminded me of my next little tidbit. Hey, we can't do this until we actually save that file. So we have to save this drawing that we're on. So go up and save it. We're going to save it pretty specifically, so focus just for a moment. When you go save, make sure it's going to that folder that's your Darren Worcester or your name folder, but not into the subfolder channels. You just want to go to the main folder. So I have to click here. I don't want to go into channels. I want to go into just CAD 1 and 2. Oh, it's got one. CAD 1 and 2 and Darren Worcester. I want to go right there. We are going to name this thing pretty specifically again. We're going to name it this hour. So I can name this in this hour. Second, practice robot. And I'm going to capitalize robot. Robot. And then again, your first and last name. Again, hopefully, when this is all nice and organized, when I go to find your stuff, I'll see, oh, hey, I'm opening up Jim Bob's file folder of practice robot, and I got that done. So there we go. Save that. Now you're ready to pull over this 9-inch channel. Once that 9-inch channel comes in, you can rotate that around. Now, some of you may be having an issue we'll talk about here in just a second. But first thing we want to do with this 9-inch channel is I want to rotate it down and put it into the position it's going to be setting at, which is right there like that. With the open C part of it facing back here in that direction and go OK. Now, for some reason, if your 9-inch channel didn't pull in and it gives you a little error message, we had a few people yesterday that did this. For some reason, while you're uploading the 9-inch channel, there was an error. Something went wrong with it. Your solution is to come over here to the 9-inch channel, right-click on it, delete the 9-inch channel, then go back to upload, and you have to pull and drag over that 9-inch channel again. Everybody that did this, that pulled theirs back over, it worked just fine the second time. For some reason, there was some little error the first time that you try to load up your 9-inch channel. All right, so next, what we're going to do is next we're going to pull in the 12-inch channel. So scroll down in this list, 12 channel, pull it in. It's going to be the piece that sits over here on this side of our robot. So to do it, what I've got to do is I've got to rotate this channel down in this direction, 90 degrees. Oh, there's 95, 90. And then I also have to rotate it in, come on, in this direction, 90 degrees. And then I'm just going to pull this a little bit closer to where it lines up. So something about like that, and that's close-ish. It's not perfect, but that's what our constraints are going to do here in just a little bit. So right about there is where this is going to end up going. Again, notice the C is pointing out. Okay, so next, what we're going to do is we're going to go and change out of the channels folder. So go back to your main folder. we're going to go into the brackets folder. In the brackets folder, scroll down, and for whatever reason, I guess this preview is not showing up, but on mine, either one of these two work. Why my other preview not showing up, I don't know. There it is. Either one of these two work. Just pull and drag that one in, or the other one. For this one, it's going to go right here in this corner on the inside of it, so I'm just going to rotate this thing down 90 degrees, that direction right there. And again, I can pull a little bit closer, but I don't want it totally in the corner because I'm going to use mates to do that, or joints to do that. Okay, so now with this angle bracket, what we're going to do is there's holes over here on the back side of this. I'm going to flip it around there in just a second. You can kind of see the hole going through this direction here. I'm going to line up the center of that hole with the center of this bottom hole right here. So the way that's going to look is like this. I'm going to spin this around to the back side. I'm going to go joint. Now this is a little bit tough here. They've made it as a pain in the rear to select. I have to select right there where I see that little plus sign on the center of the circle. If I select here, it's going to joint this point of it to the center of that other circle. I don't want to joint that point. I want to joint the center of it. So make sure that little plus sign showing up on the center right there. Click. Scroll out. Spin it around. And line it up to right there. Click. It should move that piece up into place and go OK. So now what you're going to do is you're going to line this up with this fifth hole in. So you're going to count in from this corner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes to that one right there. And you're going to join that with this first hole on the back side of it right here. So again, that way that's going to look is this. You're going to go joint. And it doesn't matter which one you pick first. I can pick this one first. You're going to joint that. Click. Fifth hole in. Spin it around. Down into this point. Make sure you have that center point of it showing up. Click. Move that right into place and go OK.
Mr. Wooster?
Yes?
Should we ground anything?
All right, so I was just reminded. One thing I forgot is this whole thing still slides all around. This initial part that we did right here, this 9-inch beam, it should be grounded. It should be locked into place so it doesn't move around freely. To do that, you're going to come up here to where the 9-inch channel is listed here on this list. Notice the little pencil shows up. That means I can edit it. If I right-click on it there, I should be able to go to ground. Now what that does is it's going to tell you it's going to reposition things just a hair. Now, when I try to move it, this whole thing doesn't slide around. It's locked into place. That's always a good step to do that. Okay, so again, talking with Mr. Hernandez about robot design. One of the biggest things on the robots that fail is the robots just come apart. They're not put together well. They just come apart. So right now, if we were to put this robot into a competition right there, this corner joint, the only thing that would hold this beam and this beam together are going to be those 4 bolts that bolt through those 4 holes that we just made. So if these 2 bolts get loosened up for whatever reason, this whole piece is going to fall off. Again, another thing is notice it's joined really nice and tight here on the bottom side, but if I put pressure on this corner of the robot, this piece here is going to try to gap apart up here at the top. It's going to try to pull that apart. So being joined here just on this one bottom corner is not a good design. You want to have multiple ways of fastening together each one of these pieces. So where these 2 pieces are joined together, you want to have multiple ways of doing that. We want to have at least 2 ways of joining each corner together or each beam together. So on this design of this base robot that we're building right now, this kind of practice robot, I'm going to show you all the different options, or not all, a lot of different options of how to join parts together. So on this one, here's one corner bracket here. On the next one, we're going to use a different corner bracket. So in our list, let me think where that is. Okay, it's right there at the very top. It's the 3 by 1.5 pattern plate. Pull it in. 3 by 1.5 pattern plate. And that is in the brackets folder. Pull it in. It's just going to set there flat. So all I have to do is rotate it 90 degrees in this direction. And go OK. Pretty simple how this was going to line up. These holes are going to line up with these holes up here. So I'm just going to pick the bottom side of this, the center of that hole, and line it up with the hole on the other side. So the way that's going to look is like this. I'm going to spin this over to the bottom side of it, go to the center of that hole, and line it up with the center of this hole. and go OK. So there we go. All right, so next we're going to go back to our channels, and we're going to pull in another 12-inch channel. So back to channels, grab our 12 channel, pull it in. We're just going to do this side of the robot over here. So it's going to be a mirror image of the other side. So you're going to rotate this one down 90 degrees here, and 90 degrees in this direction. I can go ahead and pull it a little bit closer, something kind of like this. Maybe down a little bit. And right about there is where it's going to go. So I'm going to go OK.
Mr. Worcester?
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put in a different type of bracket. This one is, again, back to your main folder. This one is in a different folder. Scroll down. It is in a pattern mount folder. So one called pattern mounts. Open it up. Once you open it up, we're going to pull in this one called a side tapped pattern mount D. Side tapped pattern mount D. Pull that one in. Now where it's going to go is these bolt holes that are in it. It's going to go into these two bolt holes right here. So this just needs to be rotated 90 degrees in this direction. Make sure, whoops, not 100 degrees. Make sure your bolt holes are pointing up here. So there's one pointing up and pointing down. So go OK there. And there's that nice little pattern mount. Where it's going to go, again, is right here in the end of this piece, right in that position. So we're just going to join that in there. So we're going to pick joint. Pick the center of the hole. And line it up with the center of the hole here. So there's your little pattern mount. Okay, so now, however, we have a small problem. This piece, there's a gap here on it. There's about a 0.1 gap on that. That's not good when you're going to bolt that together. It's not going to bolt together there solid. When I actually did this, I went over to Mr. Hernandez's room. I grabbed some of the parts and just started putting together these beams a little bit. And I thought, oh yeah, that plate's a nice one. That's going to make a nice joint here. But however, the plate I found over there was a little bit different than this plate. We don't have that one uploaded to our files here. So what we're going to have to do, we're actually going to have to upload a different file. So to do that, we're going to go to the internet. On an internet tab, we're going to go and we're going to search Actobotics. A-C-T-O and then Botics. Actobotics and hit enter. The first thing that comes up is Actobotics Servo City. You click on it. And under it, you get to this website. There's a lot of information on this website. We're not going to explore it all right now. But we are going to look at the structure. Under structure, you see all these different pieces of parts that you're somewhat familiar with. Down here, underneath the side tapped pattern mounts, that's actually the exact one we need, but we're going to click on it. And we're going to do this side tapped pattern mount C. It is the 5360. Not the 61, but the 60. I honestly don't know the difference between the 60 and the 61. But anyway, I'm going to click on that one. Once you click on it, we're going to scroll down through this a little bit and look at what we can do. We can download that part. So you're going to go through the exact same process what we did the other day of downloading that, unzipping that, and then uploading that to Fusion. This one, however, for whatever reason, this is a 20 meg file for this one part. All the parts we downloaded the other day were 100 megs. So this one is as big, and there's like 150 parts on that other one. This one's a huge file for whatever reason. It'll take a little bit of time. But, okay, so from there, here is our part, the 5360. I'm going to pull it in. Again, I need to rotate this 90 degrees in this direction to there. And this one I actually have to rotate in this direction also because the holes are not facing up. So I'm going to rotate this direction 90 degrees and right there. From there, I'm going to go ahead and join it, or put the joint on it. This one's kind of a pain getting that center point of it, I will have to admit. Come on, there we go. Center hole, 2 down here. And that looks beautiful. And my